Well, it's been a minute since I posted anything, and I'll get to explaining why that is later. But first, I need to finish the story of our adventure in the summer of 2024. But last night was absolutely brutal. When we left you last, we'd just arrived back in the Discovery Islands after the most epic day on the water that we'd ever had.
Oh my god, we're surrounded by them.
It was mid-September, the salmon were arriving to spawn, and the fog was beginning to roll in. It was becoming very clear that the seasons were changing. We needed to be back in Nanaimo by the end of the month to get back to regular life and to pay off some bills. So we spent about a week relaxing and reconnecting with friends and doing some chores, before we pulled up anchor again and began to adventure back into the great unknown.
So the hardest part of today is actually going to be, we've got quite a bit of current going with us in a narrow channel, so it's going to be pulling us all over the place, and it can swing the boat 90 degrees in like 3 seconds, and it's super foggy, so I have no reference point. And there's a delay on the GPS, and the GPS doesn't work very well in the fog either. I'm running radar on one screen and GPS on the other.
You hear a foghorn?
I hear a foghorn, but I don't see any vessels. The other problem we have is we can't really slow down because we're trying to time rapids, and we're not going to be able to arrive there at slack, so we want to be able to arrive there at slack current. We're not going to be able to make slack current, so we're trying to go as fast as we can to get there before the current picks up too much in the wrong direction.
So we're approaching the most dangerous part of the trip today, and this is what it looks like. Difficult to see. We should have about a current and a half with us. Current and a half.
One whole current and 1/2.
1.5 currents. We should have about a knot and a half of current with us going through here, so we're gonna definitely be dealing with some current, but hopefully not enough to make this an issue. The water's looking pretty good and pretty calm right now, so that's a good sign.
Whole current and a half against us, with us.
Shut up.
No, it has to be the foggiest right when we get to the narrow bits. But I can see both sides now, so that's, well, I can see that island and that island. They were cutting in between.
This stretch has 2 main areas of current, and because of timing, we weren't going to be able to make it through the whole thing. So we decided to stop for a break in between.
We made it, and it's a gorgeous day.
Oh, we just got to the end of the bay. Look at all the jellyfish in here. That is absolutely nuts.
Just went through just a big pile of them.
A gigantic pile of moon jellies. Crazy, but look at this. Beautiful. We're almost at the end of the bay.
This is it.
You can see autumn has started to come. That's not your bed, sir. No sniffing the table. Go lay down. Go lay down on your bed. We hoped as the day went on that the fog would lift, but that proved not to be the case.
We're leaving Wyatt Bay, and we've just come outside of Wyatt Bay, like we're just coming out to where the current is going to start picking up. And visibility is next to nothing here. It is very low. But we have the radar going again, and the Navitronics. And we're gonna try not to hit stuff. Right ahead of us here somewhere is hole in the wall. But I I don't see it, which sucks because I really wanted to make sure that it wasn't running too fast for us to go through.
So we're here about 15 minutes early, and as you can see, there's a little bit of current, but it's really not bad at all. It says it's running about 1.5 knots right now. And it's looking pretty darn calm. Oh, not so much over there. So, ooh, there's the whale. Nice. Humpback. So we're almost to our destination. It's over there somewhere. But of course, oh, where the ferry is. Well, that makes sense. But of course, there's a humpback right in the way of where we're trying to go. So we were planning to go back to Gorge Harbor today, but we've changed our minds and we're actually going to head to Lund. And the main reason for that is just that we can get farther south that way and closer to Nanaimo because we both need to get back to work as soon as possible. So the closer we can get to Nanaimo and the faster the better. We had an absolutely fabulous morning this morning walking at Rebecca Spit. It is completely calm out today, but there is a bunch of fog still. So hopefully that burns off and we don't have another day like yesterday. But it's nice and calm out, so at least we don't have a headwind and we should make good time getting there.
We are looking at a humpback whale that is sleeping directly in the route to get to Gorge Harbor. Not a very good place to fall asleep, but there's not that much traffic, so yeah, it's just logging. Well, we've had a change of plans. It is really calm right now and easy going. And tomorrow the wind's supposed to be against us. And we need to be somewhere with shelter for the day after because it's 20 to 30 knots against us. There's not that many good anchorages for southerly winds up here on this stretch, so we are going to head to Powell River tonight, fill up with our fuel and water, and then head on to Pender Harbor tomorrow and try and get in before the wind picks up.
What do you think of this change of plans? Yeah, it doesn't affect you at all, does it? After all that indecision, we made it to Pender Harbor, where we figured we would be protected from the coming storm. We found a spot that looked like it would be good protection, but what we experienced that night was something we never could have predicted. Well, it's about noon, and the predicted winds have just started. It's been pretty gusty for about the last hour, but it's not supposed to get really gusty or really windy until late in the afternoon. And the way that the wind is coming in here is very strange and blowing the boats on anchor here in all different directions. Like, there's a sailboat pretty close to us here anchored, and our sterns were facing towards each other not too long ago. We've got 4-to-1 scope out right now, which is all of our chain, and that should be enough. The holding here in our experience has been incredibly good, but we've also heard stories of people dragging. So we'll see what happens. We've been staying in the same place since the gusts started, so hopefully that holds. Everything started to calm down around the time the weather models told us it should, and we settled in for the night thinking we had made it through the first winter blow unscathed. But about an hour after the storm calmed down, we started getting hit with gusts of 40 to 50 knots. These seemed to funnel over the mountain and down the channel and would knock us sideways into the very end of our chain, rattling the boat as we sailed on anchor. For hours we sat watching the GPS to make sure we weren't dragging, and with every gust prayed that our chain wouldn't break. Well, you wouldn't know it now, but last night was absolutely brutal. So we thought that we were out of the danger zone yesterday because we didn't see any gusts more than 20 knots during the day. And we figured that we were in a pretty good position. And then 8:30 hit, and all of a sudden we were getting hit steady with 25 knot gusts, and then all of a sudden we were getting hit with 30 knot gusts, and then at least 40 knot gusts. So we don't have any wind instruments that tell us exactly how much the wind was, but it was so strong that our boat was heeled over, the dinghy was getting pulled out of the water by the wind, and everything was shaking like crazy. We were at the very end of the chain. We thought our anchor was going to rip out. Luckily it didn't. I'm very, very, very happy with how our ground tackle worked. We were at a 4-to-1 scope because that was all of our chain out, and the snubber held really well, but oh my god, that was nuts. Like, things were falling over in the galley. We were heeled so far over. There's a little sailboat you can see right here that yesterday was over here.
Nobody on board.
Nobody on board. It's gotten much closer to the marinas. And apparently 150 kilometers an hour was detected on land, so I'm not sure what it was here. It was funneling down an inlet that we're kind of beside. So we tried to anchor far enough over to be away from this inlet because I was worried that this was exactly what was going to happen. But there's a boat that is anchored in the spot that I wanted to be in. And of course, that boat did not move through this entire thing. It was sitting very nice in its spot and did not get blown around like we did. The other issue was that the wind shifted at, I think, probably about 11:30. Like, it blew hard southeast with those crazy gusts until 10 o'clock. And then we got like 20 minutes maybe of dead calm, and we thought we were out of the woodwork. And then all of a sudden, it started blowing again, and luckily only got up to, I don't know, maybe 35 knots was the top gusts. But that was coming at southwest, so the wind changed direction. And now it's beautiful and sunny out, as if nature did not completely traumatize us last night. We were up till about 2 a.m. Because of the crazy gusting that was happening. Also, obviously I didn't get any video of most of that happening because it was at night. But this is some video that friends sent us from Gorge Harbor, which is where we thought we would initially go for this storm. That's on Cortez Island. And you can see here that this storm was pretty nuts. This is in the anchorage there on a mooring. Campbell River, where May and Marty are right now, they clocked 48 knots gusting through there. So we survived. We didn't drag at all. The mud bottom here is nuts. We're probably going to have quite a hard time getting the anchor up today, honestly, because we've had that problem in the past anchored here, which is why we came back here, because we knew the ground was so good for anchoring. And now, today, we're going to head out and see if we can head across the strait back to Nanaimo after the wind has been blowing in 2 different directions all night, and it's scheduled to clock all the way around 180 degrees to be blowing northwest. So the sea state might be very messy, but we have things we want to do tomorrow that we need to be back in Nanaimo to get done. So we're pushing, and we will see how that goes. Just like that, we're back in Nanaimo. And I'd like to tell you that it's exciting and we've got this whole winter ahead of us that we're going to do enjoyable things, but the fact of the matter is that none of that is true, and we don't even want to be here. We're just here for work. Thanks so much for joining us. If you didn't watch the rest of the videos in this series and are interested, we have quite a few videos from this summer that you can go back and watch, and all the rebuild videos from before we launched the boat. Also, there's a lot more coming up, so please like, subscribe, leave us a comment, and we'll talk to you later. Okay, bye. This is the last time we were properly in the Salish Sea, and this video was filmed in September of 2024. But we'll get more into the details of that for you in the next video, which may be next week, or it might be in a month. I can't tell you because I've gone back to work like a normal person and I'm just not sure when I'll have the time again. But regardless, thank you for watching and I hope to see you next time.